Welcome to the Principal Podcast, where we talk about how the best professional services firms grow. Whether you're looking to scale your firm or learn from the stories of founders and leaders who've done it, you're in the right place. Join us as we interview the best leaders in professional services. Let's get on with the show. Jamie, welcome to the Principal Podcast. Happy to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
It is my pleasure. Jamie, tell us the story. What got you into professional services and what led you to become a senior partner at TOP-SET?
Well, bit of a different background, I suppose, to most. I started out in adventure tourism, of all things. I was based in East Africa and spent nearly 16 years out there. I ran a whitewater rafting and kayaking company, delivered swiftwater rescue training, got involved in sort of rescue services there, and gradually moved into risk management. So being based out there inevitably dealt with lots and lots of incidents. You saw them everywhere. I mean, road traffic accidents, all sorts of things were going on. And got involved in a number of issues. I sadly lost a few friends. I was sort of semi-professionally kayaking and doing all sorts of silly expeditions and multi-day trips and doing new rivers and first descents. And inevitably we had some big incidents and lost a few close friends along the way. And it just got me thinking about learning from events. And gradually we moved into training anti-poaching teams and risk management teams throughout northern Uganda and South Sudan and the Congo. And from there, it sort of gradually moved over to sort of risk management and then into incident investigation. So I actually dealt with a horrific bus crash was the sort of, I suppose, the thing that changed everything. I came across a massive accident, 90 people died, and I was sort of first on the scene. And dealing with that and then seeing the aftermath and the lack of learning that came from all of that was quite frustrating. And from there, I ended up going back to the UK and sitting on a course with Kelvin TOP-SET about sort of 15 years ago now. And it was just an eye-opener on how you can change the approach and learn from events and improve things. So it was really a few things along the way that got me moving into that. And it was kind of by accident, excuse the pun, that I ended up in the industry. It was more out of a curiosity and an interest in how people can learn and how we can improve and how those learnings could be taken back to Africa, because I was a bit concerned that the way things were being dealt with was very, very different from what you would expect if there was a bus crash in Europe. There would be an investigation and there'd be police and there'd be coroners and learnings. But really, when there's a massive disaster there, it's all swept under the carpet, and the next day everybody just gets on with things and the learnings are lost.
Well, congratulations. I don't know how to follow up on this. So sorry about the terrible events, the lost friends and the bus accidents. I feel this is, so you're very mission driven here, which means a lot to us. So building from that, what specific problem do you solve now, Jamie? Like, what is it that you help people achieve exactly?
Well, it's more learning. It's just kind of all problems we deal with. So Kelvin TOP-SET is actually a problem-solving tool. We don't consider ourselves a safety tool or anything. It's a tool that you take, and a system and a process that you take, and you take any event. It doesn't have to be a big disaster, a big bus crash. It can be a financial loss, or it can be a project overrun. And we look at the problem, and in a sort of simple, straightforward, methodical way, we look at that problem, we break it down, and we extract the learnings from it. And we take those learnings and hopefully spread them out globally. In the case of some of our big clients, we're delivering those learnings on a global basis. So really, it's everything we do is about problem solving and about learning. It's actually on all of our materials that we're a problem solving company. So we can go into any organization and help them deal with problems that come up.
So all sorts of companies, but that said, who do you focus on? Because obviously, I mean, what you describe here feels like, I mean, 99.9% of companies will need that. That said, a lot of people like to see that a service provider like you help people specifically like them. Like relatability is super important. Do you have a specific niche, industry, company size of service? How do you guys decide who
Yeah.
you?
Well, originally the organization we set up 40 years ago now, so we've been going quite a while. And originally it was in the oil and gas industry, but it's moved into energy services. So we work a lot with renewable companies. We work across basically any high hazard industry around the globe. But all the supply chain for all those organizations. So when you look at a wind farm, for instance, or a solar farm, they need trucking, they need materials manufactured, and all of those supply chains, we kind of work right through the supply chain, so upstream and downstream of those organizations. And we're helping them along the way, sometimes from the start of a project right through. So by default now we've ended up working with airports. We work with baggage handlers. We work with we work in railways. A lot of our work is with railways, and of course our traditional business, which is the energy services and being offshore, whether it being wind, whether it being solar, whether it's oil and gas. So we work around the globe. We work in. Last time we counted investigating about 55 plus countries around the world we've investigated in for them, but we teach companies how to do this themselves. That's a huge part of our organization, and we've done that in over 100 countries. So we work all around the globe, and some of these organizations will have 200,000 plus employees, and what they're looking for is a consistent approach to problem solving. So if you run an operation in Uganda or in Sudan, and you've got operations in the States and in the UK, they want the same process. They want the same process of learning and problem solving. And that's what we do. We give that consistent approach around the globe. Yes.
So when I was working at PwC, we were very close. So corporate treasury, we manage financial risk, and we were very close to the forensics team. For all things, I mean, corporate fraud and so on, which were in charge of doing the investigations as well. From what I understand with Kelvin TOP-SET is you not only do the investigations, but you also teach the corporations on how to do investigations. So do you have both basically a consulting and a coaching business, or how would you say the mix is?
It's all one mix. So we can't put people in front of clients unless they've actually worked at the front line. So we employ a big group of consultants around the world, and we have people all over the world. But essentially we look for people that are teachers. We feel teaching is the number one. If you're going to learn from incidents and you're going to improve, the people that work for us need to be able to teach. So that's number one. They need to have a good character, and we go in personality level. We bring them in on that basis, and then our organization spend about half our time investigating and about half our time teaching. So everybody does a bit of everything, puts their hands into them all. Some of us move more towards teaching, just by default, where they live, where they can operate. They might have young children, for instance, and teaching in a set system is better for their setup at home. But yeah, all of our team move around. So we can get a phone call in the middle of the night from a company that we work with, and they would say, listen, we've had a big incident, we've had a problem. Can you come and help us? And we would be on the ground within 24 hours anywhere in the world. That's been our goal. Obviously, it changed a little around COVID and our ability to get people on the ground places, and we had to adapt there a bit. But that would be our investigation body. But then teaching, we do two things. We go into companies, and we go into their company, and we'll run a private course for them, for their own staff within their organization. And then we run public courses in about 9 different destinations around the globe. And these private courses, people can come on regardless of which operation they work for. So it can be a mix, and they're lovely courses to do because you have a mix of different people. And we teach this approach, and we have basic courses, introductions, right up to advanced lead investigator courses. And we move around the globe teaching that and rolling it out. But what we also do is we realize that some of these organizations are huge. If you've got 200,000 employees, We don't have the capacity internally to do that. So what we do is we license tutors within organizations to deliver our training. So we have over 150 tutors around the world that will deliver our specific training, and we go around and check on them and make sure they're doing it properly, and that we have a set, consistent approach to that. So quite a mix. I'd say a 50-50 of investigating and teaching, and we feel it's important. We can't teach what we teach without doing investigations. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, 100%.
So we've worked on some major disasters and big incidents around the globe that many people will be aware of.
Yeah, it's it's the type of business where you need to walk the talk if you are to teach this. I hardly see how that works otherwise. The thing that comes in top of mind here, Jamie, is it feels like cybersecurity, like forensics, right? It's selling vitamins until something really bad happens, and then people need the painkiller. So how do you guys think about marketing? And I'm not talking about sales just yet, but really marketing when it comes to branding, lead gen, with like bearing in mind the fact that the people who just went through an incident will for sure want to resolve it. But what about selling to everyone else to help them prevent an incident from happening? So how do you guys think about branding, marketing, content? How do you
Absolutely. Make that happen? It's a great analogy used with the vitamins. It's a tricky business. We do encourage people to investigate positives when things go well. We dealt not long ago with an organization that was doing a big project, moving a very expensive piece of equipment from South Korea to the Gulf of Mexico, and it went very, very well, and they wanted to repeat that. So we can focus on the positives, and you can learn just as much from positives. But actually getting people to put resources towards investigating positives is difficult. It's difficult enough to get them to put resources towards investigating when things go wrong. So yeah, you're quite right. From a marketing point of view, it can be quite frustrating. We work on integrity, we work on honesty, and of course confidentiality, because your cybersecurity thing's vital. Our companies we work with, we don't use the name. So you don't see us much splashing around on LinkedIn. We don't jump up and down and talk about what we've last done. We work on the basis that if we work with honesty, consistency, and integrity, and do that globally, word spreads. And very much we work on a word of mouth response. Many of our clients and the majority of our business are people that we've worked with over a number of years and done a really good job for them. And they've then moved organizations, they've moved companies and taken us with them. So we've been introduced into new organizations. So I've recently been working with some companies in Australia that brought some people over from the UK that had used us and said, listen, this is good. This is better than what we've got on the ground here. Let's have a look at this. Let's bring it in. So honesty and integrity is number one. We probably frustrate our marketing team quite a lot because we don't like to jump up and down and sing a song, but we feel that over 40 years we've seen so many fads come and go, and it'll be the same in financial industries and quality and everything, but certainly in safety and quality and process failures and engineering, there's new fads, and it just goes round in circles. They repeat things with different names, and we've seen it all, and we've seen it come through, and we just focus on what we do and doing it really well. So it's high quality. It's massively consistent. As I say, if we've got a course running at the moment this week in Houston, we've got a course running in London this week, and I'm about to run a course next week in Australia. That course will be the same. Not the stories will change and the anecdotes and the way we deliver, but the consistency of approach will be the same. And we don't deviate from that. And we feel that's our best marketing ploy. So really delivering to the best we possibly can, and working on word of mouth. And yes, we lose people now and again. They generally come back after a while, but we see fads come and go, and we feel that we would never ever overpromise something. We always sort of underpromise and overdeliver. I know it's a sort of cliche, but really that's what we do, and make sure that we deliver really, really well and consistently.
So it is an interesting, I was going to say challenge. I guess it's a feature, not a bug, of the industry. But yeah, confidentiality. I mean, I guess when you help a client recover from a massive disaster, the last thing they want to say is, "Hey, you should check out Kelvin TOP-SET. They helped us, recover and learn from this massive thing that, I don't know, broke a lot of things, maybe cost some lives." So, what channels do you guys use? And I understand why your marketing team would feel a bit challenged in that regard. But so, what has worked for you guys to use your words, right? Build that trust, build that authority, keep that confidentiality, and make sure that you kind of build on this integrity. Like, what channels have you guys used successfully to embrace and develop that?
Absolutely. Well, we're communication's number one. Getting in front of people. We live in a world of digital communication where people, I hate to say it, but they hide behind computers. Things can be misconstrued. You read an email or you read a post, people misconstrue it, and people have different views on it. So we feel that getting in a room in front of people is absolutely vital. It's number one. So what we tend to do is go and visit clients a lot. We move around when we're in their area, we go and see them. But also we're doing our own sort of events. We try and speak at events. But now, I mean, last year there were 372 was the last time I counted, big health and safety events around the globe. So the market's becoming awash with these big events. So we tend to go smaller and go and meet a small group of clients. We run a sort of lunch and learn, or we do a small session with them. Things like we're doing now, podcasts that hit specific targets. And then really specific targeted marketing with specific industries. So we certainly want to get our brand out there, and we work on getting our brand out in front of people. And we might do that through various targeted sort of marketing approaches in new markets. But really it's about focusing on people and communication, key people that we know we've worked with and done a great job for. We keep in touch with them, we go and see them, we follow them when they're going to a new organization and have a chat with them and say, how can we help you? And being available on the phone. And it seems strange, but being available, people can pick up the phone and get us and get a human on the phone and speak to us. If they have a disaster, the last thing they want is an automated response. They want to speak to someone, they want to talk to a human, they want someone who's dealt with these sorts of things before, that can help them through that process and really help calm things down. Because when a big incident happens, people tend to flap and panic and arms are moving around, and our job is to be the calm amongst that storm and come in with that experience. So we don't get excited and we don't jump around, we just act methodically and straightforward. So there's no real, I'd say our biggest marketing, as I say, is just doing a really good job. And as I say, we work a long game. It can take 2 years to land a client sometimes. If we're working on a new client, it's not something that you can go in and do a proposal. And we kind of wouldn't want that in a way. If somebody is making a snap decision to switch over, we want them to be sure that we're a right fit for them. And we want to make sure that we can work with them, we can help them. And it's a collaborative approach with our clients. And if we've walked away from business, and we do it quite regularly, and we'll say that's not a fit for us, and it's not the right fit. And we're quite particular about where we work and who we work with, and make sure that we can help them. And we don't take on jobs if we don't feel it's not going to be a benefit to them. And again, that loops back to that integrity thing. It's just sticking to it, and probably why we've been going 40 years, I would say, and hoping to be around for another 40 years. So
that is a beautiful goal. One of the things that was written within the office of the CFO, literally, on one of the first clients I worked with when I was working at PwC. Like you arrive in the finance department, which was, I don't know, maybe 100 people back then, when I started the project with them. And like in big letters on the wall, there was written the following: with integrity, nothing else matter. Without integrity, nothing else matter. And I was like, this is beautiful. And that also means that sometimes things take time, and you might, decline business because it's not the right fit, which feels like the right, again, back to the mission-driven aspects that we mentioned earlier.
We have the same. We have a big board. When you go into our head offices, we're just south of Glasgow is head office in the UK, and there's a big board on the wall, and written in big writing is success through excellence and integrity. And that's just everything we do really is looking
Amen
at
to that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. How do you, so talk to me about those sales cycles, Jamie. How do you guys move the ball through the finish line? Right analogy, in the middle of the World Cup right now. Yes, watch France next Monday. 4 p.m. Central. Closing the parentheses of the advertisement for the French team. How do you guys move from this integrity, this relationship building, this trust, right? This doing an excellent work to a sales conversation, an SOW, a letter of engagement, we rock and roll. Can you walk us through how you guys make that work?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a great team, fantastic team back in Scotland and in Houston that deal with that side of things. But essentially, when we are introduced to a client, we will start an introduction. So we have a chat with them face to face, sit with them, discuss what we do, discuss what their problems are. But it's often discussing where their pinch points are first, and then telling them what we do, and then seeing how does that marry up. How can we help you? How can we help you improve, and how can we help you learn as an organization, and how can we bring that in? And once we've had that discussion, generally they want to see proposals, and we put together proposals of what we can offer them around the world. Now we've got e-learning products, so really basic entry-level products, to our one-day courses, to our lead investigator courses, to the train the trainer, where we pick people up, and of course our investigation services, where we're on call for them. So we generally put together a proposal that's specific to their requirements, and then that will go to them, and then we kind of leave them alone. We don't like to harass people. People are busy enough. Now, of course, these days people are bombarded by proposals and communications, so we don't want to leave them alone completely, but we'll often give them a bit of space, because these are big decisions and big organizational decisions, and the last thing we want is someone chapping on their door every week saying, "Oh, have you seen that? Have you read this? Have you looked at this?" So we tend to feel that what we do speaks for itself. We've given them the proposal. They know about our experience. They know about our global experience, and they know we've been around for 40 years. So we feel we kind of let it slow burn, and we let it work in the background. We have competitors that would come in and approach them and perhaps take a faster approach. But really, we feel, as I say, it's looping back, and I keep repeating it, but it's that integrity thing. We're not going to sell something to someone that they don't need. We're just simply not going to do it. It's bad for business. So we make sure it's a right fit for them, follow up with them a few months later. If it's not the right time for them, we tell them to reach back out and grab a hold of us. And they eventually they do. And sometimes it is a big disaster. Sometimes, sadly, it's an incident that's the trigger. And then they'll pick up the phone and we'll go and help them, and then we'll start training them so they can deal with that internally. But yeah, we don't tend to do traditional marketing approaches, and certainly the last thing we want to do is harass people. Everybody's busy enough, and they're clever enough to know what they need. Our job is to say, this is what we do, this is why we do it really well. If you want to get involved, reach out to us. So yeah, which is probably breaking every marketing rule in the book, but it seems to have worked. We've been going 40 years, so something's working.
I mean, I have a certain respect for companies who are around for decades, because it shows that they have understood something, right? And of course, we don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. Anybody claiming they do, except maybe for Elon Musk, who just passed the $1 trillion mark. But like for 99.9% of humans out there, we're not perfect. Yeah. But companies who are able to withstand crisis, right? Changes, economic shifts, volatility, and still be around and still grow, they have figured a thing or two. So clearly, whilst I understand how much of a headache the marketing department might be having from time to time, this makes a lot of sense to me, Jamie. Talk to me about client retention. How does it work, right? You come in, you solve, or you help them learn from the massive incident that they just had. And then what? The new SOP is in place, the new processes are in place. We are less likely to have that happen. And we have to wait for the next incident for them to come back. How does it work?
No, well, what people see, and once they come on our course, or once we've dealt with an investigation, they see the benefits of learning as you go along. So incidents are funny things that they're never just one thing. It's never just one problem. So there's multiple issues going on in the background usually when an incident happens, and it's often just bad luck that all those multiple things come together on the day and go bang. But all these things are going on all the time. So in an organization, there's learning everywhere, all the time. And what we do and what they start to realize is, well, actually, if we picked up this, and this, if we picked up those problems earlier, we wouldn't have had an incident. We wouldn't have the financial loss. We wouldn't have the reputational damage. Sadly, the injuries to people and fatalities in some cases. So they soon realize that actually we should be taking this approach all the time. We should be constantly learning. And many of the organizations we work with now, one of our big global port organizations we work with, for instance, it's got about 13,000 employees. Every single employee that starts that organization goes through an e-learning process with us to learn this is what we do if something goes wrong. So they're not scared of the word investigation. They're not scared like it's the police coming in. It's really emphasizing that this is about learning and improvement. This is about picking up problems before they occur. So what we're trying to do is sort of get that message across. And sadly, it sometimes just happens because they've had an accident or a big incident, and we'll go in and we'll help them. And then they take our approach and they roll it out throughout all their staff, throughout across the whole organization, through their supply chain sometimes, because they want to stop incidents before they happen. Now, there's no golden bullet that's going to stop that, because humans are fallible, and you put humans in a high hazard situation. You just need to go and stand in the street on the road and look at cars moving around and think of all the decisions you're making in your mind when you're driving a car, and how sometimes you can flick the indicator instead of the windscreen wipers. You know, we all make mistakes as humans. We're fallible, and we accept that, and our process accepts that. And what we're doing is looking at the systems behind it. How can we learn? How can we improve? So what we do is we take our process, we embed it in organizations so they're constantly learning. And the hope is, no guarantee, but the hope is that that stops them having incidents and damages and financial losses and reputational damage as it goes along. So from a client retention point of view, once we're in and once we're embedded with them, they see the benefits, they see the constant learning that they can do. And it's simple, it's jargon free, it can work in multiple languages. So it's a great approach for global organizations to roll out on scale.
Amen to that. I like your style, Jamie. So I'm going to throw a little bit of, let me retake this one. I like your style, Jamie. So I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball question at you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What's your guys' number one challenge right now? What is the one nut that, Kelvin TOP-SET is trying to crack that, once you crack, you're going to take the whole thing to the next level? What would that be for you?
It's a good question. There's two things that are opportunities and challenges, to be honest. There's obviously, with the onslaught of AI and it coming at a huge pace, that is a challenge for organizations, and we are looking into it, but there's huge data security concerns. And I know lots of people sell it and say, you don't need to worry about this and you're being overcautious, but we've tested it and we're using it. And we know there's massive holes there from a data security point of view. And I think there'll be some massive breaches that will be coming out probably in the media in the next year or two. So we see AI as a massive opportunity that's a tough one to crack, because we see competitors and other people jumping in feet first and saying, look how brilliant it is and look how it can do this. But on that note, what it does is humans take shortcuts. And humans love shortcuts, so they love the attraction, they love the new shiny thing and jumping into AI. But the reality is, what we're missing is that humans are losing the ability to communicate, they're losing the ability to debate, they're losing the ability to act with empathy. You're seeing the world becoming extremely polarized in every industry around the world. Even my old industry of the outdoor industry is polarized in approaches to how you climb a mountain. There's different, the polarization's huge politically and in every industry. And I feel that AI misses that emotional intelligence, it misses that authentic relationship building, and that sort of creative and cultural nuance that we all have, that we're able to go in and deal with people. So it's a tough nut, because what we're seeing, a big thing of our investigations and a huge thing we teach, is that human connection and the diversity of thought, not the diversity that you see in the news, but the diversity of thought, pulling a group of people together, not just because they're your mates and you get on with them and they'll be easy to work with, pulling people that actually almost antagonize you a little bit, that question things, that have a different viewpoint. And we're very particular when we employ people. We employ different people, different viewpoints, because they make for much better investigators. But what we're seeing with the onslaught of lack of communication in social media is people going back into their echo chambers, and they're in these little echo chambers and they're not communicating. And from an investigation point of view, that's disastrous, because people just repeat the same things. They're not learning, they're not improving, and they're sort of going deeper and deeper into these polarized views. So from an investigation point of view, that's a real challenge, and something we're focusing heavily on when we teach and teach our courses, is how to bring these groups together, how to encourage debate, how to encourage empathy, how to encourage communication and trust amongst groups. And I see it eroding at a huge rate of knots. I look at my kids and them all growing up, and the world they're growing up in, stuck to devices. It's frightening, and I see that as probably one of our biggest challenges. So AI will help in some ways, but it will be a hindrance, and it will be the people that can embrace it and use it safely, and help it where it's needed for shortcuts, but not forgetting that human connection. And I think we've got to really focus hard on that as an organization. And I would almost scrap all devices, and we do it. We deliver courses online, we do e-learning, we do cloud courses where we deliver online. But even this, we're having a great conversation. I'd much rather be sat next to you with a cup of coffee, because we'd get the eye movements, we'd get the communication, we'd get everything. And that's the advantages of the digital world are huge. I can phone a technical expert, a chemical engineer in York when I'm sitting in Australia, and I can get them. I don't have to put them in a plane and get them there. So there's massive advantages to it, but there's disadvantages too. And I feel that human connection is being eroded. So as far as a nut to crack, it's one where we're cracking and we're working on, and we're really focusing on from a teaching point of view.
Are you in Houston currently, Jamie?
No, I'm in New Zealand. So
you're in New Zealand. Okay, so you mentioned you had offices in Houston. Okay, fair enough.
I'm in New Zealand actually. I'm the only one in New Zealand. We have folks all over the world. So, but I'm based here, and I travel back and forward to Europe quite regularly. Our head office is actually Glasgow, or south of Glasgow, in a town called Irvine. Okay. And then we've got an office in Houston. And then we have sort of little bases around the world. So we're constantly on the move and constantly traveling. I spend a lot of time in airports. That's why it took a week or two to be able to find a gap to jump on the podcast. So.
Fair enough. So here we go. I mean, if you would have been in Houston, we could have actually done that in person. But the fact that you're sitting in New Zealand right now and me in Houston proves exactly your point. I don't think anything will beat in person ever. That is for sure. But the second best option, if you still want to move the needle forward, is to have those connections regardless. Jamie Simpson, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on the Principal Podcast. If people want to find out more about you, see what you do, where should they go?
Yeah, they can. I mean, our website, Kelvin TOP-SET.com, is our global website. And they can reach out, come straight through to us. We're a small team. We've got a big global footprint, but we're a small team. So if you touch base in one of the contact forms on the website, it'll come straight through to myself. We read everything that comes in, or one of the team. We can get hold of us. But kelvin.topset.com is the easiest way to see what we do and learn about what we do. And we're always happy to have a discussion with people if they're interested in courses or investigations or what we're up to. Yeah.
We will put all the links in the description. I can say one thing for sure, Jamie, is that you've gained at least one new connection on LinkedIn out of this interview? Me, I've just added you. Jamie, thank you so much for coming.
I've got a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, so I'm on there. But yeah, it frustrates me at times. And back to AI, it frustrates me, the volume of AI posts at the moment. So,
man,
but we are on there as an
about
organization. But yeah, no, it'd be lovely to stay in touch. Absolutely, very keen to.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Jamie. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Principal Podcast. We hope you've learned valuable lessons and strategies to grow your firm and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time. How